It has been about 6 months since the Atari VCS has been released to its backers. Now it is out in the wild. June 15th it was officially launched, and in today's video I'm going to talk about my thoughts about it. I've been kind of following updates on Atari Age. I know there's a Discord as well for the Atari VCS, and there's a lot I want to say about it. And so I am an original backer, and I feel that at least Atari has delivered to its backers. Now, there's been about 11,000 backers, give or take some. I had very little expectations. You know, I was shocked when I received it. It just kind of came out of nowhere. And so there has been updates to the console and controllers, as well as to the VCS store. They have trickled a few games every month onto the store, and I feel like the last 6 months have been like a beta test. You know, they've been using that small user base to kind of give feedback. As of June 15th, you can walk into a Best Buy or a Micro Center and get one in person. And so I know there's future plans of it to become available at GameStop. That is not available yet. Pretty much surprised me again that Atari is moving forward with launching this in public. And so you now don't have to be a backer. You can walk into a store and purchase one. Although that sticker price may shock some of you, it is $400, and so that is pretty expensive. All right, let's talk about realistic expectations. Okay, 11,000 back this. That's a very small user base. Okay, this is not going to be a Switch. This is not going to be an Xbox One, PS4, PC. As much as people, I think, want it to be that, there's no way it will be that. I have realistic expectations, you know. The Ouya, with the sales numbers, the Ouya sold 200,000 units in its lifetime, okay? And so the Atari VCS has its work ahead of it, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. I primarily bought it for games. Know that you can convert this to a PC. I didn't try that. There's about 20 media apps on it as well. You can watch Netflix, you can watch HBO Max, Disney Plus, Hulu, tons of other apps as well. And so if you want to use it as a media device, you can do that. Now you can do that with almost anything else, and so that really wasn't a big draw for me. Primary media device in my household is my Xbox Series X. So I wanted to check out some of the games, as that's the whole reason I bought one in the first place. Now it comes with the Atari Vault and Missile Command Recharge. Those are excellent options. Okay, but above and beyond that, I think there were some games I wanted to check out. I went on Atari Age. I inquired, hey, what are some of the better games on the Atari VCS store? I purchased $50 worth of games. Now I have to say, one thing I like about when you buy a game on the Atari VCS is the price is exactly what you pay. You don't pay tax. It's $9.99, it's $14.99, you pay exactly that. So I'm going to talk about the games in a minute, but first I'm going to bring up Antstream Arcade. I've continued to use that service, and after kind of not playing it for a while, I went back and tried to check it out, and the service works really well on the Atari VCS. Now they do have some type of free service now. Now, for people that aren't familiar with Antstream Arcade, it's kind of like a game pass for classic games. And so they offer challenges and high score table. And, you know, there is a free option to play it. So you don't have to put anything down. You can play it for free, though it does include ads. I think this is a decent service, and it really fills a much needed gap on the Atari VCS of some of those missing games. You know, I went on and played Robotron, one of my favorites. It's just so fun to go and play that, especially for a challenge. Now, I have Robotron. I have several versions of Robotron. Well, why would I care about playing it on the Antstream Arcade? Well, there's challenges, and so you have one guy. One of the challenges you can do is you can see how high your score can go on one person, and so you compare it to other people. That's a lot of fun. I think that the benefit of Antstream Arcade is it gives purpose to just playing the games. I think that really benefits from the service. And there's some great classics on there. Everything from Metal Slug, Rygar, classic shooters, platformers, you name it. And it has a wide variety of classic games. And I thought overall I'm pretty pleased with the service. and definitely recommend people to at least check it out. And you can play it on multiple different things, not just the Atari VCS, but on the Atari VCS, I thought it functioned. If you have a decent internet connection. Now, it will stutter if you don't have a decent online connection. Let's talk about some of the games I bought, and my number one pick for me was Thrustlander. Thrustlander is definitely an homage to the original Gravatar, and I love this game. I love these types of games where you're fighting with gravity in your ship, and you're either taking out enemies, and you have platforms to land on to refuel. They added a lot of really cool upgrade features and radar and weapons. It really gives incentive to go back and play a level over and over and over again with different modes. And so there's a time mode, there's even a retro mode. I really like that about this game. It's my number one pick for playing any games on the Atari VCS aside from Vault and Missile Command Recharge. Thrustlander is my go-to. Next, there's Guntech, and this is a popular game that's been promoted quite a bit. I found it kind of challenging though, going from Thrustlander to playing Guntech, because it controls a little bit differently. But there are some similarities between the games. I think I like it. I don't love it. You go around various levels collecting coins and objectives, and it just took a little bit to play this after playing Thrustlander. So I definitely need to go back and play it more. It's, again, very affordably priced. Both of these games, I think Guntech, is $20 now. Thrustlander is $14.99. That's affordable. And so it's definitely worth checking out both of the games. There's definitely enough content to justify both games. The next game is Danger Scavenger, and this is like a cyberpunk roguelike, and I haven't put a lot of time in it yet, but what I've played so far I really enjoy, and it runs pretty decent on the Atari VCS. I know some of these games are on other things, but I think Danger Scavenger is another popular one. There is a co-op mode. These types of games are a lot of fun. So anyways, what I've played so far, I really like it, and I'm definitely going to put some more time, hopefully this summer, into this. The follow-up to the Atari VCS Vault is the VCS Vault 2, and it's definitely an add-on. I would recommend this to classic Atari arcade enthusiasts or fans of the Atari 5200 games. It has both of those, a few Atari 2600 unreleased games and homebrews. I liked it. For $5, it's definitely an inexpensive add-on. It adds some games that you may not have played in quite a long time. I'm a big fan of the Atari 5200 baseball, so it was nice to see that on here. Overall, where do I think the Atari VCS is now, today? I think it just launched. And so the real work begins now. They are going to need to do a lot of work in the next 6 months to prove to others, to justify that price of that console. Let's talk about that. That price needs to come down. In its current form of $400 with both a classic and modern controller, that is too expensive. I think it needs to come down at least $100. That's just my opinion. Other people may justify that. Well, you can turn it into a PC. You can convert that, or you can do this. You can modify it. You can upgrade it. That's fine. For me, I think the price is too high. And sales numbers speak. If it doesn't sell, they're going to have to justify either adding more content or lowering the price. Either one is going to happen, I guarantee it. Atari needs to announce their next steps. I was waiting for E3 for them to announce something publicly. Now, they have done some nods on their website. They're talking possibly about adding some emulators to the VCS store. I think that would be great for people to easily be able to add additional content to their console. Do I think that's going to really boost sales numbers? It's hard to say. It really comes down to content and price. And is it something for everybody? Now, I did have an issue with my modern controller. The controller came with it. I'm having a connection issue, especially when playing Thrustlander. I would just play a game and then it would just stop. And so I had to exit out, hardwire it to the console with the cable included, and then I had to back out and then come back in, turn it on, and then disconnect the cable, and then it would work. So I don't know. I've completely updated the controllers. The controllers do have their own updates, so it's important when you have your console to make sure to update both the console and the controllers. I had a connectivity issue, and so I did reach out to Atari customer service, and I'm awaiting a response to see what I can do next. This is mostly still an Atari enthusiast device. This is not a mainstream device. If you hate Atari, this is not going to change your mind about it. If you didn't grow up with Atari, this is not going to change your mind probably. You know, you're probably going to stick with your Switch, PC, Xbox, PS4. For other fans out there curious or want to tinker with something that Atari's made today, might want to check it out. Might want to wait for a sale, might want to wait for additional content. I think all those things are a good idea. I don't hate this device. I'm an original backer. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm in the middle. I give it a pass currently because I think the work begins now. I think that they need to add additional content and lower that price if they want the VCS to be successful. And that's it. That's my rant about the Atari VCS and the first 6 months of having one. What do you think? Have you got to check one out? Were you a backer? Have you seen one in action? I think part of the challenge too is sometimes we all form opinions about things before seeing or playing actual games. And so that's kind of tough. I kind of call it the ET effect. You know, a lot of people hated ET without playing it themselves. I think we all have to sometimes take a step back and experience something if we can for ourselves to finally form an opinion. And this is just my experience with the Atari VCS from having one hands-on, backing one, and that's it. So what did you think? Comment below. Thank you for the ongoing support. I want to appreciate everybody coming to my channel as I upload videos every week. If you haven't subscribed, click the bell as you'll be notified for upcoming videos. And I want to thank everybody. This is the Immortal John Hancock. You have a good day.